The leader of a cabal of superannuated Marxists.
A Marxist.
Marxist.
He is a Marxist.
I'm not going to put a Marxist in 10 Downing Street.
Are you a Marxist?
This is the slur being hurled at Jeremy Corbyn and Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell. But what does it mean to be a Marxist? And why is it being used as a way to insult the Labour leadership?
When I told my grandma that I was a Marxist, she was like, Sophie, you're going to get locked up. They always lock communists up.
So I think we have to distinguish between, what Karl Marx would have recognised as Marxism, what Marx's followers at different periods throughout history would have recognised as Marxism.
Despite the historical mistakes, still attractive to a number of people as a critique of capitalism.
It all started in the 19th century with this man, Karl Marx. He and his friend Engels are said to be the founding fathers of socialism. The idea of an equal society wasn't exactly new, but the pair took it on and put the focus on the workers. They believed that the working class, or proletariat, and the middle class, or bourgeoisie, were in conflict with each other. Marx and Engels disagreed with the idea of making profit and thought it was just a way to exploit workers and make the rich richer.
Marxists argue those who own property and capital do not reward workers fairly.
A rotten system that we don't want to live under anymore, and that's why we fight, that's why Marx fought.
One of the main ideas of Marxism is bringing the economy under the control of society and distributing resources as widely as possible and as equally as possible.
The creation of welfare systems, unemployment benefit, housing for workers, these are all policies which are pioneered in the shadows cast by the Soviet Union. Because governments are fearful that if they do not meet the needs of their own working populations, they might risk a kind of Russian revolution in their own state.
Right. So how did some go about achieving Marxist society?
The workers coming up, seizing the means of production and creating a different kind of world.
The other interpretation is that Marxist ideas will triumph, not on the barricades, they will triumph at the ballot box.
This all sounds pretty reasonable. So why is it so controversial?
Marxism is an ideology that, for many, is drenched in blood. It is associated with, the crimes of communist dictatorships in the 20th century. So, the word evokes images of firing squads in the Soviet Union, forced labour camps, tanks rolling into Budapest in 1956.
I would ask, are they societies that are fundamentally run by the workers?
Hang on. So we've spoken about socialism and communism. How are they different? And what's that got to do with Marx?
Socialism is, in Marx's vision, the stage that precedes communism. Socialism is like a capitalist society, a class society. It's just a class society where one particular sector of the population, the working classes, has been empowered against the capitalist classes. On the other hand, communist society is the Marxist utopia, really. It's the end of class society. It's the end of politics as conflict.
So why has a political theory come to be used as an insult?
It says, if you still believe that this is a viable system, you are deluded or hopelessly naive. And it also says, if you believe that this is morally justifiable, then you are completely corrupt or fanatical.
So Marxism is often associated with particularly repressive, authoritarian regimes that claimed to be inspired by Marxism, but also failed to realize the core ideals of Marxism, including the ideas of freedom.
They think it's an extreme term. Calling someone a Marxist is extreme, and I don't really think it is extreme. A lot of people have read the Communist Manifesto.
This is an ideology from the 19th century. So why is any of it still relevant?
We can see the influence of these ideas still in contemporary debates when we think, for example, of issues like nationalization, like bringing under democratic control, expanding ownership and including workers as much as possible.
People still consider him one of the best philosophers of all time, and that's why I'm proud to be a Marxist, because those ideas have held up.